Good morning, everybody. Coming to you from downtown Nicosia, Cyprus on this Thursday morning. And we have got three topics that I want to talk about on this first update. And each of these news topics, you have different narratives, two narratives. You have the Moscow side of things, the Russian side of things, and you have the Kiev, Ukraine, collective West side of things. And let me know what you think with each of these stories. Which one is more likely? Who's telling the truth? Is it somewhere in the middle? Let me know in the comments down below. I'm really interested to hear what everybody thinks. And with regards to these stories, we probably will never really know the truth as to what happened in each of these instances. But let's try to analyze it and see what we come up to together. So the first big news topic we have to talk about is the Moskva missile cruiser. This ship that was sitting off the coast of Odessa, and something happened to it. Something happened to the ship that caused it serious damage. 500 crew members were on it. They've all been evacuated. From what I understand, the ship is done. It's no more. It's out of commission. This is a very old ship. It's around like 40 years old, and it's part of a much bigger fleet. This fleet is sitting right outside of not only Odessa, but it's securing the entire Ukraine coast. The entire sea off Ukraine is being controlled by ships, by Russian ships, and it's an interesting story because we have two different narratives, and it's very difficult to understand which is true. From the Ukraine side of things, they say that they sunk this missile cruiser, and they hit it with Neptune anti-ship missiles, two Neptune anti-ship missiles, and they took this ship out of commission. That is what you're getting on the Ukraine side of things. From the Russian side of things, they're saying this was an accident. Something detonated inside the ship, ammunitions or something, and it caused serious damage to the ship. They had to evacuate the crew. And that's the Russian side of things. A very short statement from the Ministry of Defense of Russia. You don't really have much to go on from the Ukraine side of things, except that they're using this as a big win. They're using it for PR reasons. It's a military victory, and they're using it for propaganda purposes in order to increase the morale, not only of soldiers, but of the Ukraine people, and of course the collective West is using this. All of the mainstream media in the collective West is saying, you see, Russia is losing the war, where the Ukrainians are taking out their ships off of the coast of Odessa one by one. They're sinking them, and the Russian military will collapse. It's going to start with the Russian Navy, and then it'll be the Russian Army, and before long, Zelensky will be marching onto the Kremlin. Elensky marching onto the Kremlin. I'm embellishing it a little bit, but the mainstream media is saying that this is the beginning of the end for the Russian military. Okay, that is the narrative coming from the collective West mainstream media. What's happening here? Obviously, no one really knows. The fact that the Russian Ministry of Defense came out with a short statement, I'm still trying to figure out how to view that. On the one hand, you can view it as, well, the Russian Ministry of Defense is not going to elaborate on any types of accidents or mishaps or anything that happens during this operation. Of course, they're not going to do that. On the other hand, you could say, well, maybe they're trying to cover things up with a short statement. We don't know. I think there's two different ways, and probably more ways of looking at it. Like I said, the Ukraine side of things are going to obviously capitalize on this, whether it was an accident or whether it really was Neptune missiles. The Ukraine military and the collective West media is going to use this to the max. They're going to take advantage of what just happened with this ship. Does it make a difference in the war? My hunch would say no, probably very little, but I'm sure there are experts who may want to weigh in down below in the comments and let everybody know if the damage to this missile cruiser ship makes any kind of real difference in the military operation. So this was off of Odessa. The best explanation, I'm trying to think here. Let me just give you a really good explanation, or a possible explanation, as to what might have happened from Andrei Martyanov's blog. Now, Andrei is, I would say, he's probably the best, one of the best, or the best military analyst, and not only military, but he really understands the military operation, especially from a Russian side of things, as to what's going on in Ukraine. So I think he's a very trusted source when it comes to his analysis as to what's going on the ground and how the Russians are approaching this special operation. I'll put a link to his blog down below. He also does videos. I think he posts a video once every 2 days, pretty much. He puts out a video as well, which is just fantastic. A lot of great information. But here's what Andrei says, and I'm just going to read it out to you. It's not long. It's about 2 paragraphs, and I'll read it out to you. And you can let me know in the comments down below what you think. So Andrei says this: the rumors are swirling about RKR Moskva hit by allegedly, emphasis on allegedly, Ukraine Neptune anti-shipping missiles. The only thing which is known at this stage is that Russia's Ministry of Defense confirmed fire and detonation of the ammo, which in this case means only the seller with 130mm shells for the nose dual gun AK-130. As any ammo seller, Moskva's is wrapped in armored shell. Project 1164 standard 16 anti-shipping missiles Vulcan are stored in separate armored containers located in groups of 2 and 4 on each side of the ship, and they cannot detonate that easily, nor can they detonate with catastrophic consequences. S-300 Fort AD missiles, which are also stored in revolver-type containers. Understandably, the Ukraine side immediately tried to assign the credit to itself and its Neptune missiles, which are nothing more than subsonic iteration of venerable Russian X-35 Duran. It's too early to speculate what went wrong, but something did go wrong, and the first question is, where was the sprinkler system? We don't know. The ship is more than 40 years old, after all, and unlike its sister ship, Marshal Ustinov, it didn't undergo modernization. If one throws away the hypothesis of Ukraine missiles, the only thing which comes to mind is either internal sabotage or even a possibility of a diversion from the outside by combat divers. I would suggest at this stage not to believe all kinds of telegram channels, especially Ukraine and Russian experts, but wait for official announcements of the Russian Ministry of Defense. Do not forget this. This event will be amplified and multiplied by Western propaganda, but it also may open floodgates for other events, especially if it will be established that foreign powers have been involved. This event may have some propaganda value, but it doesn't change the outcome and the objectives of the special military operation. Physical location of the ship at the moment of the event will be telling a lot. So there you have it from a real expert. Let's wait and see how this unfolds. And don't believe all of the propaganda that's going to be coming out of this. And there's going to be a whole lot. But as Andrei says, a really good point as to what he says is that this could be something completely unrelated to a missile or an accident. It may be something completely different. He mentioned outside combatants, divers is a possibility. He mentioned that this could be internal sabotage. We don't know. But there's going to be a lot of propaganda around this. And this may lead to other things taking place. If this was some sort of sabotage or combatants from the outside, what's going to be Russia's reaction? We don't know. We have no idea. We do know this, that Russia has warned that Deputy Foreign Minister, what's his name? Ryabkov is his name. The Deputy Foreign Minister has warned NATO that any weapons that come into Ukraine will be destroyed. And any weapons that are moved into Ukraine, anybody, any people, anyone that's moving weapons into Ukraine, they're going to be viewed as enemy combatants, and they will be destroyed. So this is coming from the Russian government, from the Kremlin. I believe Ryabkov is the deputy foreign minister or the deputy defense minister. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments down below. I forget. Deputy foreign minister, deputy defense minister. Even the name eluded me. Ryabkov, I believe. Okay, anyway. It's morning, and I do forget things at times. But let's get to the next story, which has to do with weapons, because we do have more clarification as to the types of weapons that are going to be coming into Ukraine. James Kirby, has specified in a statement yesterday exactly what the U.S. is going to be providing to Ukraine. I talked about this in my video yesterday, and let me just read you what they're going to be giving Ukraine. It's going to be $800 million worth of equipment from the Biden White House. It's going to include radars and cannons and armored vehicles and helicopters and all kinds of other things. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff on that list that we're not going to know about. Obviously, the Pentagon is not going to. They're not going to list everything that they're going to give to the Ukraine military, but they are expanding things and escalating things in a big way. Will it make a difference? Once again, that's the million-dollar question. The Pentagon and the collective West says yes, they're going to make a difference and they're going to help Ukraine win this war. And the Russian side of things are saying, as I just mentioned a moment ago, the Russian side of things are saying, we're just going to destroy everything that comes in, period. Everything and everyone that comes in. So we're going to have to wait and see if this really does make a difference. The Pentagon did say that they're tailoring this latest package of weapons so that the Ukraine military can better fight the battle in Donbass and potentially win the battle in Donbass and defeat the Russians. That is how the Pentagon is explaining things. And here is what they said. They said that the steady supply of weapons the United States and its allies and partners have provided to Ukraine has been critical in sustaining its fight against the Russian invasion. It has helped ensure that Putin failed his initial war aims to conquer and control Ukraine. We cannot rest now. This is what Biden said in a statement that he released from the White House. Actually, he released this statement after he spoke with Elensky. So that's an interesting point right there. In addition to highly effective Javelin anti-tank missiles and Stinger anti-aircraft rockets, the U.S. will now send new capabilities tailored to the wider assault it expects Russian forces to launch in eastern Ukraine. This is once again coming from the Biden statement. The Pentagon said it values the weapons at around $800 million. And in addition to the Javelins, you're going to have 500 Javelins, 300 Switchblade kamikaze drones. The U.S. plans to send 18 155 mm howitzers and some 40,000 rounds of ammunition, as well as 10 counter-artillery radars, 2 air surveillance radars, 200 of the M113 armored personnel carriers, 100 Humvee armored cars, and 11 Mi-17 helicopters. This is coming from John Kirby. I think I said James Kirby. John Kirby at the Pentagon. He's the spokesman of the Pentagon. He said, we tailored this list specifically to meet the needs that they have asked for with respect to what's going on in eastern Ukraine. The weapons are being sent right away, according to Kirby. And Kirby also included 30,000 sets of body armor and helmets, chemical and biological and nuclear protective equipment, anti-personnel landmines, C4 explosives, and drone boats. Drone boats, remember that, drone boats, described as unmanned coastal defense vessels. Very interesting. From the list Kirby provided, it wasn't clear whether the howitzers would be the self-propelled M109 or the towed M777. The M113 is the boxy aluminum hull APC first deployed in 1962 and declared obsolete in 2007. Also very important, declared obsolete in 2007. What did I say in my video yesterday? I said that the Pentagon is going to be unloading a lot of old stuff, a whole bunch of old stuff. And while all these weapons, they don't appear to be old things, it does seem like a lot of it is old stuff. That's how it looks. I mean, that is what the Pentagon is saying. These are stuff that are just not used anymore. But I'm not going to take away from the fact that a lot of these weapons are going to be used, or will try to be used at least. Whether they're going to be effective, whether the Ukraine military can incorporate them into the battle, I don't know. Who knows? We're going to find out. But once again, let me know. Let me know what you think. This is going to be a big question. Wow, that was noisy. This is, I don't know if you guys heard that, but let me say that again. This is a big question. Is how effective are these weapons that have been pouring into Ukraine from the beginning of the conflict? Are the Russians really destroying them? Are they making it to the front lines? Are they being sold on the black market? Are the militias in the Donbass just taking these weapons? I mean, there are a lot of reports saying that the Donbass army has one of the biggest collection of Javelin missiles now, because they've taken all of them from the victories that they've had in the east of Ukraine. So this is going to be one of those questions that we're going to have answered probably at the end of the conflict. Hopefully at the end of the conflict. At least I hope. But that's what's going on with the weapons. At least we have a clear picture now as to what the U.S. is sending. A clearer picture. And of course, Europe is going to be doing the same, and is going to be doing the same. But the Europeans are going to be sending all types of old Russian and Soviet weapons into Ukraine. That we already know. So with that said, let's end this video, and let me get walking here. And let's end this video talking a little bit about what happened yesterday with Medvedchuk, who is now being held hostage by the Elensky regime. And Medvedchuk's wife came out with a statement. She's actually a famous actress. I forgot her name. I think Olensa. Gosh, I forgot her name. Anyway, she's a famous actress in Russia, and she actually sent a message to Erdogan, and she wants Erdogan to help. She called on Erdogan to mediate Medvedchuk's release. I thought that's interesting. Turkey hasn't come out with an official statement yet, but she's an important person, a celebrity, and she's asking for Turkey's help, specifically Erdogan, which I think is an interesting, actually pretty smart. It's a smart move, I would say, from Medvedchuk's wife. But what I really want to talk about in this video is not so much with the dynamics of what's going on with Medvedchuk, and I think we covered that quite extensively yesterday. But I just want to talk about the two different narratives, because I think this update is about two different narratives that we have. And the first narrative that we have from Ukraine is that they captured Medvedchuk, and he was wearing military fatigues and trying to escape. And the SBU, they had a successful operation where they captured Medvedchuk, and now Ukraine has him. And then Zelensky came out that same day pretty much, and he came out with a video statement saying, we're going to exchange Medvedchuk for Ukraine POWs and Ukraine military. We have him. If you guys want him back, give us back our military personnel and our POWs that you're holding. And Elensky, I always forget Elensky. You know, he mocked the Russians. He mocked the Kremlin. I mean, his video was very snarky. It wasn't a very diplomatic video. It was a very snarky video. Something you'd expect after, something you'd expect from a comedian, clown, actor who wears high heels. A comedian, clown, actor, puppet who wears high heels. Let me add the puppet in there. You would expect a kind of video like that, because it's a lot of drama, you know? He's going to dramatize things because that's what he does. That's who he is. He reads scripts. And this is all theater to him. And also the people around him. You can never forget that the people around Zelensky are also directors and producers. His entire staff are the same people that worked on his show in the east of Ukraine, in Ukraine. are the same people that worked on the show Servant of the People. Those are all the same guys. The directors, the producers, the script writers, they're all in his government. They're in his cabinet. So they're going to dramatize this. And that's the story that we got out of Ukraine. He was wearing these camouflage fatigues. He was trying to escape. And this special operation from the SBU nabbed him. And now we want the prisoner exchange. We'll give you Putin's pal, Putin's best friend, for our Ukraine heroes. And it really makes for a good movie script, doesn't it? And I'm saying that for a reason, because when you look at the Russian side of things and the statements that they gave, well, then you start to realize that everything that Ukraine did with regard to Medvedchuk at this moment, trotting him out there and using him as some sort of theatrical pawn, you understand that it was scripted, and it was something out of a movie. And I believe that's how Elensky and his team constructed the entire scenario to be very theatrical, because they definitely had Medvedchuk. They had him in custody from the very beginning, and they trotted him out now, and they created this movie-like scenario around his capture. Now, the Russian side of things, well, the Kremlin just came out and pretty much immediately, and they said, you know what? Medvedchuk is not a Russian citizen. He's not a Russian combatant. He has nothing to do with us and this special military operation. And as such, he's not our problem. So we don't understand what you're talking about when you say you want a prisoner exchange, because he is not party to this war or to this conflict. And that's how the Russians laid it out. Very pragmatic and factual. And so the one narrative is very theatrical, which is the Elensky narrative, and the Russian narrative is based on diplomacy and fact and reality. Medvedchuk, whether he's very good friends with Putin or not good friends with Putin, whatever, it doesn't make a difference as to the facts on the ground. And those facts are that Ukraine is holding the leader of a political party, the political opposition party leader. They're holding him hostage, and he's a Ukrainian citizen, and he's not a combatant for Russia or for Ukraine for that matter. And that's that. He has nothing to do with the special operation of the war. So any type of prisoner exchange is meaningless, because Ukraine is not holding a Russian military combatant or prisoner. And that was the Russians' response. Very, very simple. A very simple response to Elensky. And I thought that's really, really interesting, because you also see, the camouflage. For example, the camouflage that they have Medvedchuk is very clean, very, very, very nice and new and clean. It doesn't look like the guy was hiding out and trying to escape anywhere. And the whole thing seems really, really set up, very Hollywood-like. And even the narrative seems very Hollywood-like, doesn't it? We've caught Putin's pal, and now we're going to do this awesome prisoner exchange, Bridge of Spies, Tom Hanks, Bridge of Spies kind of thing. And it's going to be this very dramatic kind of development. And the Russians just come back and they say, you know what? He's not a combatant. He's not a Russian citizen. So, buzz off. Elensky, buzz off. This means nothing to us. And that's that. So I just thought that was interesting, and I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. And of course, the news of Russia's response to it all, which I thought is very, very realistic and just very pragmatic. It's just fact-based and pragmatic, and whether Medvedchuk is close to the Kremlin or not, it's irrelevant in this scenario. And it was very amateurish for Elensky to come out with that video and to come out with those demands. It really did expose how incompetent Elensky is as a president and as a leader of a country. It just shows that he has no understanding of diplomacy, reality, anything. I mean, he just does, everything's theater to him. Everything is just theater to him. It's a play. He's acting out. For the past 2-3 years, he's been acting out a play. And you could see this whole situation really sheds light to the fact that this is, for Elensky, this is just a part in some sort of Truman Show type of movie. Reality meets art type of thing, type of exercise. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I've been rambling on a little bit too much about this, so I will leave it there. I'm going to get to a coffee shop and get this video up. theduran.locals.com. Everybody, check out Alexander's channel, check out the Duran channel, and I will see you on my next update. Take care.